Hey y'all, it's Crystal Nicole and I'm checking in. I just got a Bible study and I want to talk about 1 Samuel 25. I'm talking about David, Abigail, and Nabal. If you don't know the story, I'm about to tell you what happened. So in 1 Samuel 25, David is hiding out in the wilderness, avoiding Saul, who's jealous of him because Saul was demoted as king and God anointed David as king. David is known for killing his tens of thousands, and he was a mighty warrior. He was a shepherd. He was the son of Jesse. He killed Goliath. He was well known for this. Saul was jealous because David was holy, because David was chosen by God to be his replacement, because Saul got hard-headed. Saul started doing stuff and being disobedient. He got big-headed, and because he did so, David was given his place. Saul was trying to kill David because he was a hater. He was jealous because David was a man of noble character. David was the man that had God's heart. He had a heart like God. So David had opportunity to kill Saul, but he didn't. Anyway, while he's in this wilderness and he's hiding out, he's in a land, I think it's called Mowing, the land that he's in. Mowing, whatever. And there's this businessman named Nabal who's rich. So the whole time that David is in the wilderness, he has an army of like hundreds of people. I want to say at least 600 to 800. He had a lot of people rolling with him. And while he's in the wilderness, he's doing what he does. He's a shepherd. He's protecting Nabal's shearers and his flock. He had like 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. He's a wall of protection in between them. So basically, him and his men was out there protecting this man's business, making sure nothing happened, making sure the people that was working in the field wasn't harmed, making sure there was not a sheep loss or a goat harm. He made sure that his men was straight and all his supplies were well kept and not stolen for free. He just did it. Now, again, Nabal was a businessman and was very rich. He was also very evil, and he wasn't a good guy, but he had a beautiful wife named Abigail. David sent 10 people to ask Nabal, like, hey, my 600 men has been a wall of protection between your flock and the people that try to rob from you and steal from you. We made sure nothing happened to them. We made sure that they were good. We made sure that all your goods and whatever else he had, I think he had sheep and goat, were protected and everything went smoothly. We've been doing this for a while. Now, at this time, Nabal was doing a feast to celebrate his riches, and he was rewarding his shearers at this feast. So David was like, can we get some of that food y'all cooking? Because even though we're not a part of your mowing people, we've been here protecting y'all, and we just want some bread. Let us get whatever you got left over. It would be nice if you sent some my way. You know what Nabal said to the 10 servants of David? He was like, who the heck is David? And who was his daddy, Jesse? He ain't nothing. He called David a slave. He said, basically, you ain't nobody, your daddy ain't nobody, and you a runaway slave, because he probably knew that David was running from Saul. David was only running from Saul because David didn't want to kill Saul, because Saul, in David's eyes, was still a man of God. Therefore, he was just hiding out because he didn't want to put the paws on Saul. So he basically was on the run, but he really was the king. God had anointed him as king. He was anointed as king. This is the next king. This is the guy that killed the Goliath. This is the guy that killed the thousands on thousands and tens of thousands. He's known as a warrior. Why the heck would you call this man who's only avoiding Saul because he don't want to hurt Saul a slave? Why would you call the king, anointed, appointed next king, a runaway? And then you came out as daddy and was like, you ain't nothing. Your daddy ain't nothing either. I ain't giving you nothing. And David might have been super dark skinned too. You don't call no super dark dude no slave. And I'm gonna say this is me assuming. Nabal probably was light or another culture, another race. And David was probably dark. He'd be out in the field, protecting people and stuff. You gonna call him a slave, boy. Basically called him a nigga. Yeah, these niggas think you. Now, I'm inserting that. I could be wrong. But he called me a what? David was about to die. So the servants went back and told David. He said, your daddy ain't nobody. You ain't nobody. And you just a runaway slave. He ain't giving you nothing. Mind you, David was a noble man. David was a shepherd. He was even being a shepherd while he was hiding out. He could have just kept doing what he was doing and not been a protector. But because he was a king at heart, because he had God's own heart, he been a shepherd since a young boy, he still was protecting Nabal's sheep and Nabal's goats and Nabal's shearers and Nabal's business and his supplies. Nothing was lost. Nothing was stolen because David became a wall in between Nabal's threats. He guarded and protected those men. So he got pissed. He was like, you mean to tell me we can't even get a loaf of bread? I know you didn't ask us to do it. We did it out of respect. And when he approached Nabal and he sent the people, he said, peace to you, peace to your things, peace to your household. Can we get a little bit of that food? And he had plenty. He came in peace. And then you insulted this man and you called this man a slave and a runaway slave and said, who is you? You ain't nobody. He told somebody that was everything that he was nothing. And David responded the way David responds. He was ready to fight. So David was like, oh, okay, let's go. He rounded up I think 400 people and left 200 people behind him. My numbers might be wrong. He might have took 600 men and left 200 people behind. I know he left 200 people behind just to protect the stuff that they had. And he said, by morning, not a man in this camp would be left alive. David was on his way to kill everybody. Everybody was going to die. Everything that Nabal loved was finna die. So what happened after that was the shearers of Nabal, they knew that Nabal had just messed up and that they was all finna die. First, he was protecting them, but now, okay. So now I went from your protector to your worst enemy because you ain't finna get away with that. I sat here and helped and protected y'all. We can't get nothing to eat. And I'm nothing, and I'm a runaway slave. Let me show you a slave. Let me show you something. So they went and they ran to Abigail. The servants went to Abigail and said, your husband just kicked it off with David. He asked for food. He was kind to us. He protected us. He protected our flock. He protected the inventory. He made sure we was good and protected us. And he just asked for something to eat for his men. And Nabal told him no. Nabal insulted him. She was like, David? He was like, yeah, he said that to David. She's like, oh, okay. So what Abigail did, because she was wise, because Nabal had a beautiful, wise wife, she sent for the servants to pack up as much bread and wine and food as she could, and she loaded it on camels, and she headed out immediately. She left the feast. She left the party. Nabal was sitting there getting drunk and eating and feasting and partying peacefully, not even knowing that David was about to come and canceled Christmas on everything and everybody. Wasn't no party finna be. That party was finna turn into a blood shed. It was finna be ugly. She knew it. She jumped on that horse and the donkeys, and she met David. David was on his way with 600 men, and she intercepted him, and she jumped off the donkey, and she ran, and she fell to the ground, and she bowed down, and she said, "My Lord, on me. Everything you just experienced, put it on me. What you just dealt with, put that on me." She took the blame and she said, "My husband is a fool. His name means fool. Nabal means fool. He's stupid. He's foolish. I got you. I brought you some wine. I brought your men food. I brought you supplies. Eat as much as you like, but don't hurt my people. Hurt me. I take the blame." She sacrificed herself to David. She apologized and she said, "He's stupid. Talk to me. I didn't know you came. Had I been there, I would have made sure you were taken care of. Had I known, that would have never went down that way. So put it on me. So I'm sorry that I wasn't there. And I'm sorry that you were treated that way." And she basically talked this man down from his anger. And she reminded him of who he was. You're about to kill an innocent man. He didn't really do nothing. He just said something you didn't like. You was finna kill a whole village of people because Nabal pissed you off. And I get it, because Nabal would probably piss off the worst of them and the best of them, because he did. Because David was the best of them. And he listened to her. She reminded David that God chose him to be a king, and that killing innocent people because he's angry would put a stain on that. She let him know that you can mess up something with you and God, because God didn't tell you to go do this. You are Lord. You are a king. God ain't telling you to do this. So he was like, "You know what? You're right. And I thank you for being a voice, for reminding of me that this isn't something God would have me to do. And had you not done this, not a man would be left alive in your village by morning." He accepted it. He thanked her for keeping him in remembrance of who he was and what he had to lose by doing this. She was married to a fool that almost cost her her life and everybody else their life. But because she was understanding, because she was beautiful, because she was wise, she knew how to speak to a king. She softened his heart. She saved the lives of the entire village. Now, when she went back, she didn't even tell him what happened because he was still drunk. She ain't say nothing. Next morning, he woke up sober. He's wide awake and aware. And she says, "Guess what I did?" And she tells that she went to feed David and his army, and David was about to come and kill him and everything and everybody that he loved, and was going to utterly destroy his entire network, his entire industry, his entire business, his entire family, all his servants. They were going to die. Nabal froze, had a stroke or a heart attack upon hearing this news. Now, I don't know if he was having a stroke or a heart attack knowing that he was about to die, possibly, or was he just mad that his wife fed another man and hundreds of other men food and wine, and she went out and did the opposite of what he said. I don't know if he was mad because she went around his back, or if he was upset to know that he was about to die. Or it could have been all of it. Could have been all of it. He had a heart attack or stroke. They said he froze up like a stone and just stopped operating. And 10 days later, God struck Nabal and took his life. Nabal died just from hearing about what happened, just knowing that his wife went to David and saved his life, just knowing that his wife went and spoke life into David and gave that man food and wine and drink and bread, and including his entire army, and saved his life. He still lost it. Guess what happened when Nabal died? David heard about it, and then David was like, look, bless God. God fought my enemy for me. I didn't have to do nothing. God saved me from making this big mistake. And Abigail was the cause. Abigail was wise enough to stop me from sinning against God and reminded me that God fight my battles. So he sent for Abigail, and he said, hey, I don't see no ring on that finger. So he asked Abigail to marry him. And she said, I will marry you. I'll be your servant. I will be a slave if you want me to. He was just like, no need, just go on, pack up, let's go. She took 5 servants with her. I think he took 2 other wives too out of that area. But he left with Nabal's woman and whatever she decided to bring with her. And he married her. He did right by her because he loved that she was beautiful. He loved that she was wise, and she was able to speak life to this man. She was able to protect him from himself. She was able to talk him down on a ledge that would have caused a breach between him and God, that would have made him have a reputation that he didn't need at that time. He was known for being a defender or a shepherd, a protector, and he wasn't killing innocent people. He wasn't just doing stuff that God didn't tell him to do. He was a servant of God. He's more of a protector and a mighty warrior. And that wasn't a war that he was supposed to fight or kick off. So she protected him from that because she knew better, because she knew he was responding in emotion and offense. And Nabal was stupid. She knew how stupid Nabal was. She was married to him. She probably was making most of the decisions because those servants went straight to her after Nabal did what he did and told her, hey, look, you better do something because he did it again. He about to get us all killed this time. And she was like, nah. She acted quickly. And David came back and said, I can use you on my team because when I take this throne, I want to have some beautiful wisdom on my side. So it matters who you choose and who you pick and who you do life with. And having someone that's smart and understanding and wise can preserve your life, your children's life, your family life, because that's exactly what Abigail did. She was protective. She even went against her husband to protect her husband. She went against him to protect the people. She took the blame. She stepped up to the plate and sacrificed herself. The slap on the face for your enemy to walk away with your woman and marry her and you die because of it, Nabal was just stupid. He was silly. He wasn't wise. He was dumb, extremely dumb. He was prideful. He was greedy. He had all that money and all those riches and wouldn't even pay or feed the people that helped protect it. And he could have. Instead, he insulted them. And God took his life for it because he didn't want David to do it. God was just like, I got this. So you don't have to fight sometimes. God will avenge for you. Not saying that God finna kill somebody because y'all got mad at somebody. I'm just saying that it matters who you associate yourself with and who you have on your team. It can be a make or break. So wives, study to show yourself approved. You want to be a wife, work on knowing, understanding, pray for wisdom, and be able to make necessary sacrifices for the protection of the union and the family. Don't be out here marrying stupid. Just because a man got money, just because he has nice things, if he's silly, if he's stupid, if he's a fool, he can cost you everything, including your life, your children, and all that you have. And it just so happens that she was wise enough to intercept it and step in, which shows the value of having a wise wife or a wise woman, or even just having wisdom as an individual, as a woman. Because she wasn't able to fight. That wasn't how she fought that battle. She wasn't able to grab a sword and contend. That was going to be a lost battle. She was wise enough to know, I have this thing that I can use. And that's understanding. That's wisdom. That's my words. That's my femininity. That's my beauty. I'm finna jump on this horse. I'm finna feed this man. Give him some wine. Apologize. Be humble. Be vulnerable. And take ownership. And then speak life into this man and tell him exactly what he is and how amazing he is and how God has blessed him. And she reminded him of who he was, and then reminded him of the prophecies that was spoken over him and who he was going to be. And then said, no need for you to kill these men. It's going to make you look bad. I got you. Here you go. I took care of it. You got to see how slick Abigail did that. Like, if you pay attention to the order that she quickly jumped up, grabbed some wine, grabbed some food, fed them, apologized, got on her knees, worshiped them, called them Lord, spoke negatively about Nabal. She insulted her husband because he was stupid and said he a fool. But I'm sorry, you should have spoke to me. I was the one I got you. Let me correct this. Let me right that wrong. I got you. Now your man, what else you want? Anything you want, my Lord. You know you a strong man. Look at them muscles. I heard you be killing people too. Yeah, I heard you the king. You know what? God loves you. She did what needed to be done. And she was wiped. She had one day with the king. Her character, her beauty, her femininity, her wisdom, her ability to speak life and to honor and to recognize who he was and remind him who he was. He did not forget about him. He came back for her. As soon as he found out her husband was dead, he snatched her up. He only met her once, briefly, and told her, if it wasn't for you, if you didn't come correct like this, if you wasn't this good looking, if you wasn't this wise and smart, had you not brought me this food and this drink, I was hungry and thirsty, and this dude called me a runaway slave, and I'm sitting here. If it wasn't for you, like, some bad stuff was about to go down. And he appreciated her, and he married her. When I tell y'all the Bible good and it gives you the rules, it gives you the map, it's the blueprint. Pay attention to how she presented herself, how she humbled herself, how she showed vulnerability, how she reacted, how she corrected herself, how she wasn't to blame, but she still took the blame because she sacrificed herself to save other people, because she was loving, because she was understanding, and because she was the wife. And even though Nabal didn't die right then and there, because David didn't kill him, because Nabal's wife was beautiful and smart and wise, Nabal still died. God did it. God came back and did it for him. And it was like, basically God showed David, I ain't tell you to do that. Let me handle this. I got you. So you got to know that God will fight your battle. Let people say what they going to say and do what they going to do. And then let God deal with it. Don't Don't dirty your hands. It ain't worth putting your hands on certain stuff. Certain people, just walk away and leave them alone. Because if you do it and God didn't have you do it, if you do it and God didn't tell you to do it, then it's going to mess something up. It's going to dirty your hands. It's going to mess up some blessings. And he almost messed up something. And it wasn't worth it. Thanks to Abigail, that didn't happen. Thanks to a wife. Thanks to a noble woman, a woman of wisdom and understanding that understood and was willing to do whatever it took and serve and take the blame. She protected David as well as Nabal, as well as everybody else that was in the courts and in that city that worked under Nabal and at that feast. One woman. Kind of like Esther, right? She saved everybody. That's it. Bye, y'all.